Hi there. Hi, Parliamentarians of Australia. This is Rich Mclean. No, it's not. It's Troy McClure. You may remember me from such films as... I'm only joking. It's Dr. Richard Mclean, and I have an important message for the people of Australia and the parliamentarians who are of public office, and they must act within the statutory... the agreements of the human rights with people with a disability, and you must act in legal binding to that, and as well you must act with not acting outside human law or the human rights law. And I've just got a bit of a story to tell. So I've been oppressed. I'm the victim of a conspiracy. A lot of you already know this. Greg Hunt and Reynolds, the MP Minister for the NDIS, and of course, who was the Finance Minister? Birmingham. He knows about it, and a lot of others. But I'm sending it to you all today as a reminder that I'm still here. I'm queer. I'm drinking beer. Well, if I had a beer, and I'm still alive. I'm grateful for my life, but some serious omissions that have occurred systemically that have rendered a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. Please listen to me. I'm a good person. I haven't done anything wrong. If I'd done anything wrong, I'd be in jail or arrested. The powers that be, though, are exploiting me systemically via the government, abusing my human rights and my very dignity, and rendering me a vagrant. This has happened over many years, and it's only in hindsight that I've realised I've been utterly, catastrophically scapegoated and character assassinated. The reasons are quite a few. I'll just go into them very briefly. I wrote a book about my experience with schizophrenia in 2002. I was an illustrator at the Herald Sun, and I went across to The Age, and I loved that job. However, Jamie Brown, the manager, was a homophobe, and the other person was Louise LaRocca was a Jehovah's Witness, and they conspired when my book came out. They didn't like a bisexual, past drug-using schizophrenic in their art department, and I lost my job. That book was a really brave book that won a Human Rights Award, for which I have no rights at the moment. And it was an amazingly courageous book, that pro-feminist book, which warned of pitfalls and things for young people, as I wanted to delay and stop suffering of other people, and I wanted to explain the story of my internal dialogue and my story for which I had survived. And sadly, the oppression became so much that was systemic and from government and agencies, and exploited the prejudices of society that already exist to turn people against me. Now, laws have been broken. The other point is, my former partner, Steve Isonides, born 11/12/72, worked for ASIO. We were engaged and we were together for 5 years, quite a toxic relationship, very charming man, but he sadly went through sexual abuse and a whole lot of heinous things. I feel for him. I would say this with no emotion whatsoever, but I get death threats here at the door because he knows I'm still seeking a equitable and legal parting of assets and equity. I haven't been able to do that. In fact, I'm banned from the police, I'm banned from any lawyer, and I'm banned from being a whistleblower at IBAC, at APRA, at APRA, and also the Commonwealth Ombudsman, despite obvious criminality that has occurred. Now, this is systemic, it's over years, and I've just, yet again, come out of hospital where I was oppressed. Now, the systems that be exploit the idea that I'm crazy. Now, I'm a little kooky, bit of a weird sense of humour, but I'm quite within my reason and my limits for sending this message. I was assessed for the third time, my third hospitalisation. The first time I was hospitalised, I actually knew beyond reasonable doubt that I was character assassinated, and I was so distressed by my own child sexual abuse case being thrown out by a magistrate, a crooked magistrate, because I didn't know it yet, but I'd been catastrophically character assassinated by a GP I made a legitimate complaint about, and his lawyer framed me as an extortionist. It's never been about money for me. I'm not particularly interested about money. I'm interested in freedom from oppression, my safety, and my human dignity. Of all I haven't got. I don't have a cent, and I'm squatting in a house here in McCummon Street, Footscray. I've contacted over years many people and organisations, and everyone with a vic.gov.au or a .gov.au, or who is a part of the government, I don't know how, I don't know why, but they have acted with the methodology of deny, delay, defer. The first time I was hospitalised, I committed suicide. I say that in past tense because I was actually accidentally found with 0 pulse and no blood, unresponsive. The Hospital Freedom of Information says it was a fatal injury and a lethal attempt. This is on the back of a failed VOCAT case where I was violently assaulted for helping someone, a member of the public. I failed that case and they pinned it on me. I wasn't sure why. I went for the freedom of information from the police, and it was heavily redacted, and the obvious video footage that showed me to be innocent was omitted. Further, I lost my sexual abuse case, my own child sexual abuse case, that I came to realise later in life, and gave name to it and wrote about it in a doctorate study. I'm Dr. Richard Mclean. Thanks. I tell people I'm Dr. Dick. Anyway, that combined with I had been a registered allied health professional and therapeutic support for the NDIS. As always, as you'll see on richmclean.com.au, I spent the best part of 25 years advocating for other people more marginalised than myself. I talked honestly about drugs, sexuality, and the pitfalls of avoiding things as a young person to young people and other people. I've spoken from Montreal to Dubbo, I've spoken in Parliament, and I've spoken in all the radio and TV shows, and had a film made about my life and art. I'm an artist from the DAC Centre, and it seems to be my altruism and the kindness and the way I wanted to help the world. It didn't really do a lot for me apart from further identify me as someone with disability. I say disability with a / disability. Sometimes mental illness is mental skillness. I wouldn't have been able to do the incredible art and music and all the amazing things I've done in a PhD without my broad ideas and my broad perceptions of the world, this reality and other realities. Now, I wanted to say, where was I going with this? So I've been an advocate for 25 years, and now I need help. I've been on a public campaign trail to try and get help for myself. One of those is simply getting an atonement from Steve Isonides for our time together. He's protecting himself because he is actually, I know some pretty wicked things about him. And he embezzled $1 point something million in an offshore tax haven, got caught. I'm just going to the website now called killhim.info, which is my whistleblowing site, since I can't be one anywhere else. And they protected him with just a fine. Now, He blackmailed me with putting me in Centrelink and jail and all that kind of stuff, but it's bigger than that. The suicide in hospital was considered fatal. Now, I atoned, and no one would stick up for me because I was catastrophically gaslighted as someone who kills himself for fun. This is entirely not true, and I love life, and I love my dog, and I have love for people. Now, the hospital CEO bade me to attempt to... I offered for conciliation, a mere acknowledgement that it happened, like I did with the first Dr. Whittaker case, but he refused. He said to me, sue me personally and directly for the death. He knows, with forward knowledge, that I can't get a lawyer, I can't go to police, I can't be a whistleblower, and I have no power anywhere, anyhow. It's a very sad situation. That renders me a political prisoner and a scapegoat. I am actually the centre of a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice. As public officials in the Parliament, you are required to act within the Charter of Human Rights with people with a disability, and now I have a brain injury, very forgetful, quite articulate, and still have my vernacular and speech and everything. I have a dropped face, and I can't feel my feet either. But there's serious harm that's happened to me over that attempt, and there's justice, there's an atonement there to be had. The second thing is that, or the third thing is that I've literally become a vagrant. I literally am a vagrant. I'm an important person. Been trying to silence me for so long, and I'm pretty over it really, because I've been escaping the police. I don't need welfare. I need justice. Although welfare is also welcomed, because I've been starving. I wrote to Senator Birmingham and saying there is no time to delay, deny or defer this any longer. I'm sitting here with nothing, and they will prepare me for hospitalisation, and they will euphemize that poverty is an excuse for madness. It is absolutely not. It is a political game that is keeping me silenced. But I have sentience, and I will not be silenced. I need my needs met. That is part of the Human Rights Charter. It is the government's responsibility to take care of its citizens. In actual fact, the Prime Minister's Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet refuses to release my freedom of information until my birthday. Isn't that funny? Which may have explained why this has happened. I've been to every agency, and I've been scapegoated from each one. The government's treated me with zero human worth, and instead of providing justice through police or federal police or agencies of public officials who all have a responsibility, like you, to act within the law, the focus was on my illness and not my human worth, my dignity, or my justice. I oppose this. I am resilient, and I'm not suicidal. Since that hospitalisation, the first one, in February 2021, I saw a psychiatrist twice in 10 months. They left me to die. I'd lived on $22,000 on Centrelink. They first put me on JobKeeper. Since February 2021, my rent is $18,500 of that. That's about $50 a week to live on. That's more than under the poverty line. It's almost impossible to even exist. I was unethically discharged, and no one stood up for me. And the government condones that. And I want you to intervene, please. I'm a person of worth, and have a look at richmclean.com of all the amazing things I've done, and know that I'm not just an illness, that I'm a person. I'm just reading off my website here, which I invite you to look at. It's called killhim.info. The way to destroy someone is to exploit already existing public known things about them and amplify them into half-truths that are believable and turn people against you. Now, the detriment that is owed to me, which I've asked the finance minister to acknowledge, is millions and millions of dollars. Now, AFCA are under legal obligation to get a resolution with financially marginalised people within 4 weeks. Mine took over 2 years. I pulled the whistle, and they cancelled all my cases. The Australian Human Rights Commission were overseeing a discriminative case of where a super company didn't give me TPD and income assist, and there was a conciliation, and then I called up one day and they free kicked that whole thing to the other team. I know there's government intervention in this because I contacted the fund myself and I got a small atonement. My income assist from HCF was $75,000. It's been a year, that's what they owe me. They called it a prior existing illness. It was not. Why the reason I left work was because I was distressed about my 3-year battle with the courts and a crooked lawyer, a VOCAT lawyer, to get my VOCAT case heard, and it was thrown out and the magistrate said I was doomed to fail. At the same time, I parallel worked with a very distressed man who was raped as a child and had incest issues, and it was triggering for me, but I did have permissions in place to be able to protect myself. I mean, so they owe me like $75,000. My former partner, outstanding, that's at least $500,000. I'd be happy for $50,000. I could pay my rent and just move on. I've gone bankrupt and I needn't have, because I should have had the money. I can't sue the hospital. That's probably $250,000 to $500,000. Comcare's rejected my work cover appeal. Now, work cover refused to help me in my case and my appeal at Comcare. And guess what? Paul Fowler, the person at Comcare, is the person who used to work at the head of WorkSafe. So that smells like corruption to me. And now, despite me having a brain injury and apparently a disability, that I am trying to fight my work cover case at the AAT tomorrow, 30th, and it's a possible TPD case because I can't remember, I can't feel my feet, or it's just a case of how many weeks pay at 90%, whatever. However, the government now has a 25-year experienced lawyer to kick me in the head while I'm down, despite my objections that this is inequitable, it's illegal, and it's outside the realm of the Human Rights Charter of me having equal access to the law. I've been denied a medical malpractice case. That's $100,000 at least. The detriment of being systemically oppressed. The corrupt cases of the VOCAT 1 and 2, there's more money there. I can't go to police. I've tried. It's on killhim.info. You can see all the recordings there. I've had to record it to protect myself. I can't get a lawyer anywhere. I've been character assassinated. I've lost my friends and my family. My reputation's in ruins. My business, richmclean.com.au, was destroyed by Micron21, who it's quite funny. They accused me of being conspiratorial and saying that the government was accessing my emails. I have evidence of that, and they, without warning, destroyed my 20-year piece of work, my website, my advocacy, my love letters, pictures of loved ones I've lost, and all of my data and evidence before a court, which is a crime in itself. I've suffered an acquired brain injury, which has never been acknowledged. I've had the very conspired loss of human dignity and value, and a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice is illegal in this country. Libel and slander is illegal. I'm sending this message today because I've been released from hospital again for the 3rd time after the police trespassed on my property, and they broke the door, they locked me in a divvy van, took me away, and this isn't for a reason of me being crazy. it's for a discriminatory reason of appropriating poverty for madness. It's not true. It's not fair. I had to wait. The second time I went in, I got COVID. The third time I went in, which was just yesterday, and I got out today, they couldn't keep me there because I'm not insane and I'm not at risk. What I am at risk about, though, is my immediate homelessness, the immediate detriment owed to me, which I offered the Finance Minister just a month's wage, just to see me through until the government can explain and work out the detriment that has actually been due. There is no time to delay, defer and deny. If I'd done something wrong, I'd be in jail. I believe I will be reverse framed for something I haven't done, and that would be really bad. Currently, I have no food, squatting. I haven't enough money to exist. To not immediately act with atonement of a bursary of just an average wage immediately puts me at great risk, not only of starving and malnutrition and stuff which I've suffered, but of hospitalisation through the pure stress of it all. The Human Rights Charter of people with a disability has been trashed. It puts the nail left in what is in my human worth. I'll better sign off now because it's been 20 minutes. I don't want to waste your time, but I'd like you to circulate this, and I'd like you to circulate it to decision makers, to people in power, and to human rights activists. I've had to appeal for public, and I've had to borrow money off friends to survive. I've become that whiny friend who keeps asking for money, and that's put great space between my friends and I. I'm appealing to the public to support me, because if all of the parliamentarians don't listen to this and acknowledge the crimes that have happened, and I've published in the public domain on killhim.info, and frame that with the amazing altruism and creativity I've done on richmclean.com.au, I'm left with no choice but to move to the street or take the government to the High Court. Unfortunately for me, Michaelia Cash, the Attorney General, already knows about the injustices at the Australian Human Rights Commission and AFCA and the AAT and other agencies, including Comcare. Like everyone, she identifies me as distressed. And I am, somewhat, but I'm not crazy. I'm oppressed, and that's against the law. A conspiracy to pervert the cause of justice is vile, and to do this amount of systemic oppression to a person who has spent his whole life helping others is absurd, and it's abhorrent. I wish to ask for your help. It's Rich Mclean signing off, just released out of the crazy ward again. I hope to meet you all one day. I've met Mark Latham. He didn't acknowledge me. I met Bill Shorten. He didn't acknowledge me. Adam Bant, he's a good bloke, believe in him. But he didn't help me. I think there's a real gridlock here. Like, that people aren't able to help because they cross the floor, of something like that. I can't even work out. I'm just a nice dude who's hoping for a simple life free from death threats and free from malnutrition and having the last shred of dignity not taken from his life. I'm not suicidal. I'd appreciate your support. If not, I'm going to have to take the whole government to some sort of federal intervention or something, and take them to the High Court. I hope you can help me. I just want a simple life. Please, I love my dog. My dog's awesome. She's a husky. She's 3 years old, and her name's Crystal. She's not here at the moment. I've got to try and find where she is, and I'm very worried about her. But it's Rich Mclean, Dr. Rich Mclean, Dr. Dick, signing off, saying hello to all the parliamentarians in Australia, and hoping that people will believe in justice, because and help me in the meantime. Just look after myself, because everyone has worth, and I don't need all the millions of dollars I'm a detriment to. And the people that invest in my story and help me, will not only get that money back when the justice comes, but I will add extra to organisations such as trans kids and homeless people and Indigenous people, Indigenous rights, and environmental issues. So please believe in me, believe in my stories. Please acknowledge this video that I'm sending to every single parliamentarian in Australia. And if you can help, please help me. If you can't help me, don't hurt me. And if you can't do anything, feel free to share this video. Okay, here's Mr. Too Sane, Too Insane, Too Smart, Too Dumb, Too Poor, Too Rich, Dr. Rich, signing off. Thank you very much. Okay, bye.